Hi guys, this is Taylor, and I'm here today with a video that I've wanted to make virtually since I started BookTube. It's a piece of commentary that has come up with frequency since my reading became a little bit more disciplined after high school. And honestly, it really frustrates me when people make this remark because it just seems like they are completely missing the point of what I'm trying to say and pinning an assumption on me that is just not true. Basically, you've seen the title, you know what this video is about, but to clarify, this is about when people who don't know me very well find out that I'm a reader, or in the context of the library where we're all constantly talking about books, just ask me in general, what kind of books are you into? My standard answer is usually mostly literary fiction, but also some magical realism, fabulism, nonfiction, black humor, and sometimes people aren't familiar with those terms, which is understandable. So then I will list off a couple of favorite titles, at which point I will then get the remark, oh, you like sad books, which as a blanket categorization of my reading tastes is just not true. I don't like to feel sad. Don't know many people who do. I do like to feel moved or informed. And that is pretty much the definition of art, I think, is to have something that is created by someone else make you feel something. That feeling or that information that you have gained isn't necessarily going to make you feel good. But most of the time you will be glad to have had that experience or gained that information if it's a good piece of art. I think the reason that I take issue with this response is because it seems to target literary fiction, and it just puts a really, misinformed spin on the intentions of the genre. Almost 100% of the time, literary fiction is written with a goal in mind or a message to convey, and that message often in some way involves expanding the reader's worldview. We hear literary fiction authors talk all the time in interviews about how their goal in writing a novel was to explore a concept or to challenge misconceptions about a particular topic. For example, Shelter by Jung Yoon, one of my favorite novels of all time, is, in my opinion, an examination of grief. The main character of this book is attempting to process incredible grief and does so with a number of actions that could be seen as absurd or out of character, at least in my estimation. Here we have the author saying, hey, the way that we usually think of grief is as someone, sad, crying, maybe withdrawn, but here is an exploration of a different way that grief can manifest. And then in my life, I can look back on my grief or of the grief of my friends or family with added context. And I can apply that added context to future situations as well. I can look back on a character's situation and his story with a better understanding of humanity. The exciting thing is that in fiction, this message or this exploration can also be about experiences that you'll never have just because of who you are, whether that be because of your upbringing or your background or your social status, what have you. The example here would be of a book that I just read this month, which is The Namesake by Yunba Lahiri. I honestly feel like this book does the best job of describing exactly what it's like to be a second-generation immigrant and to feel stranded between two cultures and not fully accepted by either one. And that's just an experience that I'll never have because of who I am. And so it's incredibly enlightening, and I feel very grateful to be able to be educated by a narrative like that. I don't want to say that I don't read for entertainment, because not only does that sound pretty pretentious, but it's also just not true. Plenty of times I am reading something purely for entertainment, and anybody doing so is totally valid. But my favorite books tends to be the most emotionally impactful ones, and books that either reflect my life experiences or the ones that teach me about others' lives. Honestly, if I just liked sad books and that was my only criteria, I would just read books where the dog dies at the end. And that's all you'd ever see me talking about. I don't read books about dogs dying because that's a subgenre that I just wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. So I guess that's the end of this discussion, rant, whatever you want to call it. Just to clarify, this is not a comment that I've ever gotten on YouTube, I think, or really anywhere on the internet. It really just seems to occur in real life with people who aren't the most familiar with my reading tastes. So if you enjoy the same types of reading experiences that I do, I hope this resonated with you in some way. And I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye!